And the other thing I didn't mention was my first proper CBT session, which I had on Skype in my home the other day. And he's a lovely guy who's English, and I found him, he lives in Toulouse or nearby. And I filled out all the proper forms and everything. And yeah, we talked about lots of things. But the thing that came out at the end, which I thought was really interesting, where it kind of developed onto, was talking about values. And I guess that's something that I've never really done in my life. And I want to share with you some of my past. So I guess that when I was growing up, I was brought up mainly by my mum, and you know, she had her own set of values and opinions. And I felt when I was younger and kind of young teenager that basically when I was responding to things, I was responding using her values and her opinions. And then when it got to the point where I had my episode 7 years ago, no, hang on, before that first I want to say, so when I was a later teenager, I was kind of, hang on a minute, I don't want to walk around with someone else's opinions and values. I want to have my own. But I didn't feel like I had any. I felt like I was telling James, the therapist, that I was walking around like a blank sheet of paper. Like, who am I? Or what do I believe in? Like, I didn't really know. Like, all of that seemed completely, I don't know, not tangible. I didn't get that, and I couldn't work it out for myself. So when I had my episode, I feel like that was really reducing me back to nothing, to ground zero, to kind of the blank sheet of paper in my physical body, in my mental body, in my energetic body. In every single way possible, I was back to zero. And I guess the process of the last 7 years has been me kind of working out who I am again, who do I want to be, what do I want to express to others, what feels kind of right with me, and what are my values. So I guess I've been living my values a lot more, especially coming to France. I'm kind of living the life that I want to live, with, you know, a whole new set of friends, a whole new environment and everything. And I think that's been really good for me and us as a family generally. So yeah, the other day I wrote down like pages and pages of what, first, the meaning of values, and so that I could really understand what values actually means, so then that I could put that into me and what I thought my values were. And so, you know, I started off with general things like kind of peace and kindness and generosity and all sorts of things, and then I developed and moved on to more finer details. And I think that'll be really good, because then I can feel like, okay, well, this is the way, what I want to live by, and what I kind of connect with, and what is true for me, my beliefs, my kind of principles, my right and wrong. And a bit crazy that at the age of 37 I'm only just doing this. I suppose I've been doing it for a while, but not been labelling it as, oh yes, that's my value. It's just, you know, on its own been developing as I get older. But I've never really put it down on paper and thought, okay, these are my values. So have you done that? Is that something you've thought about? Do you feel like that's kind of concrete and set in your mind as to the values you live by? Because I think that could be quite interesting if you haven't done it. And I'm going to obviously talk further with him, the CBT guy, this Saturday coming actually. And we'll talk about values and how that fits in with my life, and how that possibly might change things. I don't know, let's see where it goes and what he has in mind. but it certainly is an interesting process, that's for sure. So yeah, this time I really am going.